So great to be with you here today, Frank. This has been a great conference so far. Beautiful area, great content. What more could you? The food's good.
Even the food
I
is
rate
good,
the food
right?
at these things, and the food is really good.
Yep.
Coffee's been good. I know you had a couple things that you wanted to talk through today, and I had some questions for you. But let's kick off. I know you had something especially important you wanted to focus on. So tell us about that, and then we'll go into some of the other questions.
Sure. I think one of the concepts that's come up a number of times throughout the conference, both at our site sponsor consortium and in our kickoff meeting, or one of the meetings this morning, was the concept of the single IRB mandate that is proposed from the FDA. This is going to be a pretty substantial change to the industry. Current rules related to single IRB are really focused around funding sources. And if the FDA rule were to go into effect as it was originally proposed, it would impact a much broader reach of research. So anything that's covered by the FDA, so that includes all drug trials, all device trials, and things like that. So regardless of funding source.
Why do these initiatives, proposed changes, typically take so long to finally come to the forefront?
That's a great question. And, I think what we heard at a conference at the end of last year was that the FDA is really looking hard at the comments. So the proposed rule was posted. There was about a 90-day comment period, and a number, I think about 50 or so comments were provided on feedback. Some really positive and saying, yes, we love this. Some saying we have some concerns with how it was written. So they said they're taking all of those into account. And according to the FDA, they're moving relatively quickly, but still it's going to take probably through the rest of this year before the final rule does get posted, if it does.
Staying positive, is there anything else that you would like to see in the near term that the FDA puts forward?
I think if the rule gets finalized, what we'd love to see is additional guidance. So there's a lot of questions about how this should be implemented. With the previous rules, the common rule and the NIH rules, there's still a lot of questions. Those have been in place for now 6 years or so, and there's still questions about the implementation. How should we do this? Who makes certain decisions? How can organizations be more efficient? So any sort of guidance that the FDA can provide, I think, would be really beneficial.
So we're here at Ensemble.
Mm-hmm.
Talk me through some of your favorite pieces of content, favorite talks that you've heard so far. What were some of the key takeaways that you took from it? Are there anything in future events that you would also like to see for topics come up as well?
So we had a really great meeting at our site sponsor consortium yesterday. Just a number of folks from the industry, from sponsors, CROs, and sites and institutions, just talking about how we can make things better in the industry, how we can get therapies to market into patients' hands as quickly and efficiently as possible. What are some of the roadblocks? And it's everything from contracting processes to IRB and slowdowns that institutions might have and sites might have in that startup process. So it was a really thoughtful group, and there was a lot of really good potential opportunities for folks to kind of take some things away and come back in the next couple of months as this group continues to meet to try to find some solutions and partner together throughout the industry in a way that just doesn't usually happen.
Now, I had a couple things I wanted to also bring up since we have you here. And one of the questions that I had was around what sites should be doing to prepare. Well, you gave us a little insight. Can you elaborate more with what you said earlier in terms of how can sites start to prepare?
Yeah.
Let's assume this goes through, right?
Yep.
It seems like everyone's fairly bullish on this going through. Let's jump ahead maybe.
Yep.
What can sites do to be prepared?
They can start by just looking at their current policies and procedures, understanding what's working today. If a significant portion of their portfolio is going to be impacted by the FDA rule, then they should be figuring out how they manage that increased volume that's going to be outsourced to an external IRB. They need to start planning for the financial impact. So the NIH Common Rule and Common Rule rules really focus on federal funding, like I said. So these are opportunities when investigators are proposing research grants to the government. they have the opportunity to say, okay, I need a single IRB and it's going to cost X number of dollars. A lot of this FDA research, especially investigator-initiated research at institutions, is not funded. And a lot of institutions have said, we don't have the capacity to take on even a 2-site, 3-site, 10-site study. So what happens to those studies? Who is going to be the IRB of record? How are we going to pay for that? Because even institutional IRBs charge for their services when they're the IRB for other sites. So, things like that I think are going to be particularly impactful as part of this rule that folks need to be thinking about and planning for.
Now, how about on the sponsor side of things now?
On the sponsor side, I think there could be some really great benefits, right? We hear a lot of studies, sponsors typically say about 15 to 20% of sites choose to review independently instead of going to a central IRB. And so this will centralize all of the sites for a particular study. So there could be some efficiencies gained there. But I think what we really need to do in the industry is look at that IRB process at the sites and institutions, because that's not really going away. So the local IRBs still need to be engaged. They still need to kind of give the thumbs up to send the study out to an external IRB. And that process can take days. It could take months before those studies are allowed to move ahead. So the quicker that process could be, the more streamlined it could be, the better it's going to be overall.
In part 3, what does Advarra plan on doing to help customers?
Yeah, great question. We have a lot of things planned coming up this year. So we're really heavily investing in thought leadership. So you'll see lots of webinars. You'll see lots of news, checklists, and documents that sites and institutions can use to help part of this planning process. We have really great resources internally that our team is always willing to talk to clients and pick our brains about how we can possibly provide support. I think some IRBs will look at maybe outsourcing a portion of their portfolio to an organization like Advarra. We can certainly provide resources around that. And we also have a team of fantastic consultants that can go in and help organizations figure out what the impact is going to be, how they're going to manage this new world when it comes into play.
Advarra does such a good job of educating, not just these core relationships that you have, but just the entire market in general. Not to say that others don't, right? Nope. But like, perfect instance is having an event like this.
Yes.
That's above and beyond, what most organizations do. Can you also share like what you feel the importance of events like this are, and why Advarra loves to put these on?
I love these kinds of events, just like a lot of industry events where people get together. They have a lot in common, right? They're using the same technology. They have a lot that they can partner together on, and this gives them an opportunity to have face time, meet other people that are in the same boat, that are using the same technologies and things like that, to figure out how they can be better, how they can work more efficiently, and what steps they need to take within their organization. So as much as it is with Advarra providing content, really the huge benefit of things like this is the interaction from the folks who attend with each other.